Hello out there, and today I am responding to a challenge from my buddy Ray over at the EDCC, Everyday City Carry, and the challenge was this: you needed to pick your one knife for everything. And that is a difficult challenge, guys, because that means one knife that basically replaces all other knives, the only knife that you are allowed to keep from your collection. And Ray was challenged from Cedric and Ada Outdoors, and Ray's video was just really interesting because he really took some time and catered his response to really fit his individual needs as, a knife user. Not really the best knife that I have or my favorite knife, but what is the one knife that is going to serve me best if I can only have one. And with his knife laws up in New York City where he lives, he had, some other parameters that he had to fit. And me sitting here not really having those parameters, really just being a sort of typical everyday carry kind of guy where, most of the usage I get from my knives is just basic around the house kind of tasks. Nothing really too crazy that I use my knives for, but I do like having versatility with a gents kind of folder with maybe some carbon fiber or a classier kind of look and feel. But I also do carry a knife in my pocket and use it when I do yard work. And so I want something a little bit substantial. So just a lot of parameters that I'm looking for as well. And so this was a really difficult challenge. Throw in there on top of all of that, some of these knives have some pretty great sentimental value. A lot of the stuff in my collection would be hard to pass up, even if it's not the best one to use, because this is a knife that my wife got me, and this is one that's just really rare and would be hard for me to get rid of. And this one up here was a gift, and so many different aspects of knives that I had a lot to think about and a lot to sort of balance. What's going to be the most important factor when making this decision. And so I have these final 10, and I did make a choice. And the one that I chose actually isn't on the table. It is this guy right here, the Honey Badger. Believe it or not. Guys, I'm just messing with you. I wanted to make sure you're awake. The Honey Badger is a great knife, and I'm having a lot of fun with it and all the mods I'm doing. But this is not the winner. But yeah, just had to mess with you guys a little bit. Very good blade, but would not be the only knife that I could ever own. And the reason for that, and the reason that I'm going to be making the first couple eliminations, is actually materials. And before we do that, let me just go through everything that we have on the table. So up top here we have the Spyderco Tenacious, the CRKT Hootenanny. Down here we have the CRKT Caligo and the Benchmade Mini Grip. And then from the right to left we have the Benchmade Kogera, the ZT0770CF. The Spyderco Para 3, this one has Maximet steel and carbon fiber. Spyderco Domino, Benchmade Bug Out, and Kaiser Corto. And so, yeah, but getting back to the first elimination, as we start to move through some things, there are a lot of really good designs. And while I do enjoy knives with 8CR13 MOV for just regular EDC kind of usage, in this scenario, I really think that I would want, if I could only have one knife, I would want one that was easy to maintain like 8CR, but would probably hold its edge and stand up to use and abuse a little bit better. So, while I really like the design of the Tenacious, and honestly a knife that, if I still owned it, would have really been in contention, would have been like the Bird Raven 2. Which is just a little bit beefier and bigger, but has CTS BD1 instead of the 8CR. Something like that would be something that I could really see myself wanting to hold on to and maybe, make it all the way to the end, make it a very tough decision. But as it is, the 8CR on here, as good as the knife is and as substantial it is, and I really do like that, I would want something that would just be a little bit harder in the steel department. And another one, while the Caligo with the aluminum frame maybe not like the beefiest and toughest knife out there, the Hootenanny though, man, this is a tough one to eliminate, even despite the steel, because everything else, the strong frame lock, the weight of it, the jimping, just the versatility of this knife, except for the steel. This is a wonderful design. And this is still one that I wish they would bring back in a better steel. At least give that another chance, because yeah, they have a winner on their hands. And yeah, if this one were even in like 154 cm S30V, this one might be the choice. But as it is, those are getting eliminated. All right, and then the other end of the spectrum, yeah, I do want something that's hard, but I don't want something that's so hard that I wouldn't be able to maintain it. You know, I am not a very good sharpener. I need to have something that sort of is workable, is something that I can maintain and touch up and strop. And I've had some trouble in the past sharpening really hard steels. And so I don't think that Maximet blade would be the best thing for me to have, especially since it might chip, and just a lot of hard use, just that maintenance wouldn't be something I'd be able to do. So the Para 3 is one of my absolutely favorite designs, but you know, the only one that I have right now is in Maximet, and that sort of eliminates it. It's not all about high-end steel, it's about the right steel that's for you. And I think if this were my only knife, it wouldn't work. So that brings us down to 6. So we've got 3 Benchmades, a Spyderco, a ZT, and a Kaiser. Whew. And these decisions are tough. And we're going to get a little bit fast with them, actually. So, the Bug Out. Bug Out's going to go. And the Bug Out is an excellent knife, but I don't know. It's not the one that I would want for to be my only one. I really like the carbon fiber scales that I have on here. It does make it a little bit stronger, but even so, it's still not a particularly strong knife. I understand that the people who are really into it and love it will disagree, but even though this is well built and, you know, is an excellent backpacker's knife and will stand up to just about any use that you need, you know, there's no denying that when you have a knife like this in your hands versus the Domino is just thicker and feels like a stronger and more sturdy knife. And that's what I'd be looking for. So the Bug Out is going to go as well. Now we're down to our final 5. Man. ZT0770CF. This is a really cool knife. The only assisted one that's in this entire conversation. So, yeah, I don't really think that's a deal breaker or a reason to eliminate it, but just something that I've been thinking about. The next one that's going to go, though, the Colgera. Colgera is one of my absolute favorite knives. It still might be my favorite Benchmade, just as a whole, as a design. But it isn't perfect. And while the Osborne designs, I don't think I have the 9... Yeah, I do. The Osborne designs with like the 940 and the 943 really became super ergonomic. The Colgera, the 930... it feels good in the hand, but it does have a couple hot spots, and it doesn't have any jimping. And while the G10 is what puts it on the list over the 943, I don't know, just I don't think this could be the one. So again, and at this point we're being so nitpicky, guys, that it's just a matter of feeling more so than anything concrete. So down to 4. The next one to get eliminated is going to be the ZT here. I'm trying to come up with a reason on the fly. I'll say the carbon fiber handle scales. They do make it look very classy, and it is arguably my favorite blade shape. I talk about this all the time. I love this blade shape, but maybe the assisted opening wouldn't be my favorite thing long term. Carbon fiber handle scales, while I do really like that, maybe not going to be the best. I don't know. I don't even know what it's not going to be the best for. But if I'm looking for just a regular everyman's kind of EDC, I'm going to go for maybe something a little bit different. Getting to the final 3, I haven't really talked about the mini grip much. But we have the mini grip, the Spyderco Domino, and the Kaiser Cordo. Kaiser Cordo here is, man, this is a hell of a knife, guys. I got this in a trade with my buddy Jacob. I sent him, I think, a 940 for this. And this knife is arguably the most impressive Kaiser that I've ever held. This is one of my favorite knives in my collection, period. It's really good. It just does everything well. The pocket clip is good. It's a titanium frame lock. It's got a nice G10 little like inlay. The action is excellent. Thumb stud. Really interesting kind of blade shape, and the overall handle shape, the curvature of it, sort of reminds me a little bit of the Sliverax, just not so like crazy with the shape of it. You know, a little more subtle to that curvature. Really into this knife. Could not be more impressed. Are there better, more high-end Kaisers out there? Absolutely, but this one is just a very nice piece. And this one, God, it'd be really hard not to keep this one. And I'm gonna just have to eliminate it for no reason, just because it isn't the one. But it's a great knife. So down to the last two, and here we have it: a mini Griptilian and a Spyderco Domino. And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I wish that the mini Griptilian was a little bit larger. I wish that it was Spyderco Domino sized. Because the Domino definitely has the size that I want. And I love the action on it. I love that you can open it with the thumb hole and the flipper. But more than that, I just like, for my one knife, something that's going to be very substantial. And honestly, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I started this video thinking that I was going to pick the mini Griptilian. That was the thing that I was going to say, and like the big reason for that was that 154 cm, though a premium steel is still really easy to maintain, and I thought that I would have some really good balance. And honestly, this might be the most balanced knife out of everything. Sure, the blue, like plasticky kind of handle scales aren't going to be the best, like gents versatility kind of carry, but I think that just as a daily carry kind of knife, and one that you could bring outdoors and do some like light yard work with and just do everything with and maintain, I don't think there are very many better knives than this one. It'd be very hard to get rid of this one and not pick this one because it is my first Benchmade. But I am going to go with the Domino. Man, I just shocked myself. Made the decision on the fly. I am going to go with the Domino CTS XHP. I just like this knife too much. It's got the perfect size for if this is going to be your only knife. Multiple grip configurations. It's comfortable in the hand. I'll be honest with you, the jimping isn't the best. It's a little bit shallow. The carbon fiber G10 like laminate scale, it's really nice looking, but it isn't the highest traction. But there's something about the knife that it's just a little bit of everything. Just does a little bit of everything. I've seen people with aftermarket clips. On this one, for some reason, it just doesn't bother me at all. I like this knife exactly the way that it is. I've said on multiple occasions, even though this isn't my most used Spyderco, that it's my favorite Spyderco. And yeah, I sort of have to stand by that. And I have to say that this would be the knife that I would pick if I could only have one knife in my collection. A little bit of a surprise there. And I'm happy about it. It's a good surprise. So yeah, hopefully this was a coherent video. The way that this challenge worked, Cedric and Ada only challenged one person, and it was Ray. And so holding true to that, I'm going to challenge someone. It's going to be someone who I think that because of the way that they carry knives and the certain restrictions that they have personally, and the size of their collection, which will make it really interesting, I would really like to see what he has to say, and that is my really good friend Stassa 23. So Stassa, if you're watching this, ball is in your court, bud. You have one knife that you can keep in your collection. What's it going to be? All right, guys. But any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know down below. And let me know, what would your choice have been from amongst these knives, and what would your choice be from amongst yours? All right, I really appreciate you watching, and take care. I'll talk with you soon. Have a good one.